Walt hits up Los Pollos Hermanos, a fast food chicken spot, for a meeting with Jesse and Saul's businessman. Jesse rolls in high, restless, and unfashionably late. And while they're posted up, some lame manager dude rolls through checking on Walt and Jesse. Walt dismisses him, all like, ain't nobody got time for these interruptions when you're in the big leagues, man. Jesse randomly gets on a high horse and dips out, but Walt keeps on waiting around. I don't disagree with Jesse. From Jesse's perspective, this looks like a waste of time. It looks like their time is being wasted.
Wait, Jesse has only been there for like 3 minutes. What do you mean?
Jesse's not in a good mood.
He's not in a good mood.
Jesse's not in a good mood and doesn't want to be there in the first place.
Then don't even come. Jesse's the one who ruins this.
I agree. But let's play devil's advocate for poor Jesse Pinkman real quick.
Okay.
With all the shit that he's going through already, he's gotten dragged to this meeting. He's late. I guess he expected the meeting to already have been started by the time he got there, right?
Whatever. You're trying to roll in and be the last or whatever. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
All right. We're playing devil's advocate. Okay.
He walks in. Walt is still sitting there with his stupid ass chicken meal. He hasn't been.
He hasn't touched it.
He hasn't been met by anybody. No one has talked to Walt this whole time. This is bullshit. I'm out of here. This is a waste of time.
Whatever. Do you think that he would have felt that way if he wasn't high?
No, I don't think he would have felt that way. I don't think any of this shit would have gone down the way it did if Combo hadn't been murdered.
The only reason Jesse is so like suddenly indignant is because like
Combo got
murdered.
Yeah.
But like people have been dying this whole time.
Nobody they care about. No one.
Yeah, and now he want to act like he's better than Walt.
I don't think that's the case. I think it's just, I don't know.
Because he's talking to Walt. Man, I wish I had like.
He's high on meth. Let's just chalk it up.
He's high
Suspension
on meth.
of disbelief.
Bro, I don't know. Walt and Jesse are such piss poor communicators.
With each other?
With each other. You know, and Jesse tries to like reach out and talk to Walt when something happens to Jesse, when like Jesse is disturbed. But like when it comes to just getting down to business, Jesse is like way too emotional. He's way too like sporadic. He doesn't think about things in a business sense.
I think it's circumstantial for him. Jesse keeps getting put in circumstances where outside of the whole smoking meth thing, it's kind of hard to expect him to keep his composure, even if he wasn't high on meth.
Walt has told you that he's out and then called you later up like twice. And so I understand why he's like frustrated, maybe a little bit annoyed. But it's like he expects Walt to care when he's like, yeah, things have changed. We got a man killed. And it's like, how do you want Walt to react to that? Like, somehow, these other people have died.
Remorse.
These other people that Walt didn't know have died. And Walt didn't react. How do you expect him to suddenly react to this other guy who people have been dying, Jesse? That's Walt's state of mind. I'm not saying he's right. Walt's a douchebag. But like Walt's state of mind is people have already died. People have been dying, Jesse. I understand why this is different for you. But why do you expect this to be different for me?
It's not different for Walt at all. Crazy 8 and Combo.
Yeah.
It's like same shit.
Yeah. One of them worked for him and one of them didn't.
Right. Jesus.
So like I'm out. I'm done. Like all of that. Like I understand your entire devil's advocate point for Jesse. And I understand he's high on meth. There's no like rationale but Jesse was better off staying at home.
Yeah, I agree. He ruined the meeting.
He's a really bad business partner.
Yeah.
He's probably a pretty good friend.
Gus was probably about to walk up when Jesse came in. Or no, Gus was like waiting for his partner to show up. He knew he was meeting with two people.
He knew he was meeting with two people because he doesn't walk up until Jesse gets there.
Yeah.
And I think that he sees like Jesse squirming like he does. And he walks up like this was him checking to see.
Yeah, he was taking their temperature.
Yeah, exactly. All right, this dude looks high out of his mind. I'm gonna go and confirm my theory. And he was right.
All right, let me go make some chicken then. Change this grease, I guess.
That's why they're wasting time.
Do you think if this would have just gone completely differently if Jesse wasn't part of the equation in the first place? Because this episode again is another one of those times where maybe they should have just parted ways.
Yeah, I don't know why Walt needs Jesse at this point, and
he needs somebody he can manipulate.
Let's talk about this now because he says it later, but I'd like to go ahead and talk about this now because there's other stuff that I want to talk about when that scene comes up. But like, Gus does ask Walt, why him? Why do you want this dude as a partner?
Mm-hmm.
And Walt's answer is,
because he does what I say.
what do you think about that reasoning?
I think he's honest and upfront, at least at first.
I mean, but like, what benefit is there for keeping Jesse around at this point? You're talking to the largest distributor, and he's low key, he's low pro.
Jesse does what he says. Jesse does what Walt tells him to.
So cut him his
invaluable
half of this next, what, bro? Yo, like,
having this crazy tweaker dude who'll do whatever you tell him to do is invaluable.
What do you mean, whatever you tell him to do? What else do you need him to do?
Shoot
other
Gale
than
in the face?
Cook meth?
Be a hitman? Be your bodyguard? Be that trigger man when you can't be? Which is exactly what he ends up doing.
But he can, I guess, yeah. He wants a guy who's loyal.
Who will do what he does without question.
Anyone who Gus gives him will be loyal to Gus before he's loyal to Walt.
And anybody else that Walt could interact with would give him pushback. Jesse's not. Jesse's doing the things that he is told. Pretty much no matter what. Jesse
Because
does what he's
anybody
told.
with some sense, anybody with some smarts would push back immediately against all of, like, a lot of stuff that Walter tells them to do or proposes. That whole, let's expand into another territory shit.
Like, no, dude, that's dangerous. You're going to get somebody killed.
Exactly. I guess you're right. Because Walt wouldn't have anyone who's just loyal to him.
Mm-hmm.
Not for the whole series. Not Mike.
Nobody for the entire series. Period. He has Jesse. No one else is as devoted. And
you can try being a respectable man. Stop being such an asshole.
That's who he is.
Skylar?
No, he can't control Skylar. Skylar doesn't do what she's told. Jesse does.
Whatever,
Skylar wouldn't have
bro.
shot Gale in the face.
That wouldn't be... If you were Gus, though, is that enough?
That's a deterrent, in my opinion. To hear that from Walt's mouth, it'd be like, that's an even bigger reason that I do not want this dude anywhere near my organization.
He wants a guy who will do whatever he says, no matter what?
Yeah.
No matter
this
what?
This tweaker that we can't trust anyway?
That's the last thing he says in this episode. Don't trust a drug addict. You can't trust a drug addict.
This is one of those episodes where they should have parted ways. From beginning to end. We see reasons why they should have parted ways throughout this episode.
Mm-hmm. Because Walt doesn't need Jesse anymore. Not for anything business related.
Nope. He should just split that money with Jesse, and Jesse and Jane could have got Ghost.
But I feel like if he were to keep Jesse around as a part of his operation, right? The whole 50-50 split thing, that's got to be out the window. It's time to renegotiate. Things have changed.
What has changed?
We have distribution. Jesse was the distribution. That was the reason for their 50-50 split. Remember?
Yes.
I handle the production side.
Yeah.
I do the chemistry. You have the street smarts. You take care of the hustle. And because he doesn't need Jesse to take care of the hustle anymore, now they've got Gus for distribution, which is a way wider and larger distribution network than Jesse was ever capable of creating, clearly.
Yes.
Jesse's value in the business has depleted, has decreased dramatically.
Part of the stipulation, I don't know. I feel like Walt needs Gus more than Gus needs Walt. You know what I mean? Even with how great his product is.
Mm-hmm.
Unless, like, Gus had Salamancas or somebody else who were like, no, we need you to be producing blue meth. Unless Don Eldadio came to Gus and was like, nothing is as good as the blue meth and you need to be selling blue meth. I can't think of another reason why Gus has to work with Walt.
Has to? No. But, like...
It could have been a prerequisite of their partnership that Walt cut ties. He never forces Walt to cut ties with Jesse.
That's what he should do. He should force Walt to cut ties with Jesse. That should be a stipulation. All right, you're in. Cut ties with Jesse. Do whatever you need to do. Cut ties with him. I'll put it in your contract. I don't know if they had to do contracts for, like...
I don't think it would have mattered anyway.
It wouldn't have mattered. Walt would have kept Jesse around.
Maybe Gus should have just killed Jesse. Or threatened him. He wouldn't have had to kill him. They could have sent somebody to his house and threatened the fuck out of him, and he probably would have gotten ghost. I think the conflict that happens, if I remember correctly, between Jane and Walt, though, is that Walt finds out that Jesse is doing heroin and refuses to give him his $500,000
until he can pass a drug test.
Yeah, that's the conflict. And upon remembering that, fuck Walt. I kind of don't blame at least Jesse. You're not gonna make me. What do you give a fuck what I do with my money at this point?
This is why he gives a fuck, because he never gave a fuck before. This meeting, well, the second meeting.
I'm saying give him his money and cut ties.
Because Gus, who, all right, let's be real. Gus is everything that Walt wants to be.
Yeah.
So he's looking at Gus as an example. He watches Gus for all of season 3 as an example of what he should be like if he's going to be able to run an operation to the capacity that Gus can. The first thing that he sees out of Gus is that Gus doesn't trust drug addicts.
You can never trust a drug addict.
Gus is judging Walt and his competency to run an operation based on the fact that his partner's a drug addict. So I think that Walt internalizes that. Maybe not even
So cut ties with that partner. Give that man his $500,000 and cut ties with him. Here's your money. I never want to fucking see you again, bro. Jesse would be like, bet. Jane would be like, deuces, and they're gone.
They're gone.
You never see them again. And then you go work for Gus and make however much money you want.
He wouldn't have his lackey.
Yeah. Yeah.
He has to trade. He has to make a trade-off. But here, he's trying to do both. He's trying to keep his lackey and have a non-drug addict lackey. Shit just doesn't work.
It's another episode. I'm thinking more about episode 12 from how it starts and the events and shit.
Yep.
It's real hard to not play devil's advocate for Jesse again.
Well,
bro, you wake up and your house has been broken into. $1.2 million worth of meth is gone. Your partner took it.
We'll talk about
sold
that.
it and won't give you your money.
We'll talk about that next week. You just sit on that, and I'll be able to cut that apart too.
Okay, deal.